Welcome back to the Painted City. This is Paula.
And this is Patricia. We are so excited to introduce our next guest, artist, creative, Genevieve Bernard.
Hi.
All around amazing person to spend time with.
Oh, absolutely. Hi, Genevieve.
Hi. How are you both?
We're doing good. Thank you for showing up. I'm so happy to have you at the table with us. I'm fortunate I got to meet Genevieve a few years ago when we were both in Patricia's class.
You taught me the magic of the hairdryer.
Oh, I love the magic of the hairdryer.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was nervous. I had a bunch of wet paint really early on in the 2-hour period and I didn't know what to do. And you were like, let me show you the hairdryer.
Yes.
It's magic.
And it still continues, right?
I'm obsessed with the hairdryer now. Yeah.
I actually have like my portable heating element that I brought with everywhere. No, it's like $15 on Amazon. It's an actual heating element, so it can go hairdryer, or you can turn it up higher if you want to do something like bubble up your paint
Oh.
or melt Crayola.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you're doing the Crayola stuff. So I kind of went from hairdryer to little handheld heating element. And
Nice.
Paula, we need you back in class. You need to change your working hours.
Well, I will be back in your class starting in October, but I'll be in your night class.
Yes.
Oh, me too.
Yay!
Are you kidding?
No, I
Both
set
of
up
you.
for the night class.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So for you listeners out there, you're probably wondering like, yeah, what are they talking about? So let's start with the origin story.
Which one? Okay.
How we met? Why not? There's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Start with that.
So
Mellow.
I think, you and I met when I was working at the Manila Museum. And I was also working as the Kids Fringe producer at Orlando Fringe at the same time. So I was doing both. And Kids Fringe was on the grounds at the Manila, and we invited all of these local organizations and artists to come be a part of Kids Fringe, and Patricia was there with Crealde.
Yeah.
And Crealde's been a part of Kids Fringe forever and has done this amazing, like, on-the-spot art, little mini art classes, I would say, or art experience.
Like drop-in classes.
Yeah, like little drop-in moments. And that's where I think that's the first time we met.
That's where we met. I had heard of your name before.
Oh.
Yes. And I heard your name and I'm like, oh my God, this person has to be amazing. And you were there and I said, I saw your name tag. And I said, that's Genevieve. I get to meet her. So I went up and introduced myself and I said, I love this woman. I said, I knew she'd be fabulous. And fast forward, I don't know, maybe 10 years or more. She ends up in my art class one day and the rest is histoire.
I've wanted Shake for years, and then finally, I wanted to come to Crealde forever.
Yeah.
I finally did it.
And you've been taking classes there for how long?
I don't know. 2 or 3 years now, I think.
At least.
So time passes. Whenever I first met, my first class was when I met you, and we learned of the hairdryer. So
Okay, so I was a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because I've been at Crealde on and off for years when I started in photography, but when I started I started taking photography classes. So I took classes with like Rick Lang before he passed away and all of that. And I decided to take the art classes. Well, actually, I showed up for art journaling. And the story was that she started telling me what to do and I listened. She thought I was a fellow and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just listened and I was moving because I showed up early. Because I was working on the inpatient units during COVID, they took away all visitation and all the people who came in. I was like, what can I do to help people who are dysregulated on a lockdown unit with the world's locked down?
Yeah.
And so the joke is I'm very good at listening to what Patricia tells me.
I had no idea. I thought she was a volunteer, a fellow.
Oh, that's hilarious. And you did not get instruction?
Yeah, I'm like, can you do this? Move this table? Can you put these magazines? I'm like, and she's like, what program are you a fellow or volunteer from? I'm like, what's a fellow? Now, I was a fellow 2 months later.
Yes, because when I met you, I was like, I knew you were something special because you were just helping.
She's
with the things.
Yes, I was. I did fellowship for over 2 years, and I did 2 years studio artist.
Oh, see, that's the dream. That's cool.
Yeah. And that's where I got to work as a Kids Fringe a few times because I went with Crealde as like the fellowship and to get hours because I went with some of the teachers and I got to do some of the Kids Fringe events
Oh, that's cool.
as assistants. I've never done it solo. I always show up as the assistant. I like being the Vanna White.
I get that. Yeah.
She shows well.
Yeah, because you're like, "Hey, Paula, I need this done." I'm like, "Okay, I got it." Or, "That kid's crying." "Okay, I got it." Here, oh, let me put on my social work face. "Oh, okay."
We need that.
We need that.
Yeah.
Isn't this beautiful? I just love every guest, every episode that we've had. It just spins around. It loops around to either, being at Creole Day or this art event or this theatric event. I mean, there's always something that goes back to the arts community. And this is
Yeah.
why we have this podcast, right, Paula?
Oh, yeah, and to let people know, like, art is not just pen to paper or paint to canvas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that you do so much more than that because all the time I've known you, you're involved not only in the community building part of it, but dance and painting and, like, please go on. I mean, I know that
Step in. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I don't know. In this community, my fingers are in a lot of things.
Mm.
My official job or my current day job is I'm the director of experience at Orlando Fringe.
Yes, you got a
So-
promotion.
I did. So I'm one of a team of women, which is amazing. The organization was at a point where it needed a little love, and the three of us had worked with Fringe in many different capacities in different ways over the years, and the board put us in place to kind of steer the ship. And so I am experienced. That is telling the story of Fringe. That is reaching out into the community on behalf of Fringe. We're still a nonprofit, so there's a lot of pieces of it. I am also the marketing and I'm marketing, I'm education, in that world of nonprofits, we often do, or even in your world of social work, we do all of the pieces.
Body hats, one head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was your previous position?
Oh my God, I've had so many, depending on the director or the thing. Prior at Orlando Fringe, I was, I was education coordinator. I was education manager. I was that Kids Fringe producer for many years, and kind of grew that event from it was pretty small. And then I moved it to Manello and then to the Orlando Garden Club. And so I was also creative learning producer for like a year or two. That was kind of a fun title that was made up for me. So I am kind of that storyteller, community, education glue piece of Fringe. So that's one of my pieces in the community. But also I have Voci Dance, which is a modern, or if you don't know that term in dance, a contemporary dance company. We've been around for 20 years, I guess, as a pickup, kind of a pickup company, or we ebb and flow. We don't have a season like the Shakespeare. We're project to project. But we've done so many cool things over the years, also with either with Fringe or performing at the Manello or inside Orlando Museum of Art, or all different places. We did a lot of I'm very interested in space. And so a lot of site specific work. Like we performed on the roof of the Orlando Library. I sat there and read vintage dance books while the dancers performed around me on the roof of the library. We've done, there's a giant tree you both might know at the Manello. It's like over 400 years old. Out of there, where it grows up and then into the ground and back out.
It's like a big spider.
Yeah, it's an amazing tree. And that we've created fairy shows where the dancers have ginormous wings, and we've found ways to like illuminate the wings and climb the tree and crawl through the tree. And so we've worked with various things in nature. We've danced in gardens. We've danced on playgrounds at elementary schools where we invite the kids to it's kind of a little bit structure, and it's a little bit improv as well. So there's places for the kids to be a part of it. So I've done a lot of like site specific work. I'm just very interested in putting movement in those kinds of places. We've done dance picnics over different places throughout the city in different parks, or just shown up like on the lawn of an office building, and people are like, what is going on? And
Amazing.
like, so we've done things like that.
The Office Gallery.
Oh my God, that was forever ago, but I loved it. At the gallery,
I think we might have.
you were a gallery artist there, right?
I don't know if we officially met there. Tell the story about that space.
Well, that space was really cool. The Office Gallery, and Frankie Messina, who I think was a part of that as well, wasn't he?
I don't know. John Corallo.
And John Carollo, you were a part of it.
with Marcia
Was Marsha?
Dorosky. We had a
Okay.
space. There was a co-op.
It was really cool. It was upstairs in a building downtown above like a
FedEx.
There was no parking. I remember that was like there was
Yeah.
never a place to park, but it was so cool. All these
1950s building.
spaces, great windows, really cool.
Mhm.
And I think you had an opening. Oh, Rick Jones was there. Did you know him?
Yeah,
Remember
of course.
him?
Now he's in NYC.
He was my roommate briefly.
Oh my God.
Wild fun fact. But you were doing an opening, and John said, we'd love to have, because it was like an office space, but
Yeah.
there were all these artists that took over the office space, kind of like this is like a
Yeah.
hotel
Yeah, motel.
that artists have taken over. How cool. And for your opening, you wanted a receptionist and the artist. So we had one of my dancers, and she and I worked on like kind of a performance art piece where I think she was at a typewriter, and she was just like, people would come in and she'd like, she'd like make comments to them and say different things,
Yeah.
move and just do different things,
Yeah.
but also kind of say, and the art is over there,
She looked like a 1950s because the building was 50. So she had like maybe a beehive with red
Yeah.
lips and horn rim glasses, and it was fabulous.
Yep.
It was
It was really fun. I
was
love
super-
doing things like that. There was a in Ivanhoe Village now. I think it used to be
Mhm.
called Ivanhoe Row.
Oh, yeah.
There was a cool mid-century furniture store, 1618, 1816. I forget the number.
I have a table and chairs from
Oh my God. Okay, so
Yeah.
you know the space.
It's still there, yeah.
And one of their Ivanhoe like holiday, they do that big holiday event. What do they call it? Jingle Eve.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, do your dancers want to like come and do something for Jingle Eve? And I was like, yeah, but it's like a bunch of stores. Like, what can we do? And I was like, could we like dance among the mid-century furniture? So we did of course, they were just like improving, and they'd like sit on a chair, and then they'd roll over and go to a table, or and it was just
I love
fun,
that.
wacky. Again, it's kind of site specific. It's but
We need more of that, guys.
I
And then
know.
we could do that here at Fable.
and I've had a little space from it, like just myself personally, because I'm the creative, and I'm the person that kind of creates. I like to create playgrounds for people to work in, and so there's a gentle structure, but there's lots of space for improv and like inviting that space. And that's what I do with the dancers, but also any of those dance projects, I'm also like the chef, the cook. I make the rehearsal schedule. I find the rehearsal space. I make sure they are all there. I tell them what to wear. And so I've, since the pandemic, I would say I kind of have been a little bit like, oh God, it's so daunting to do all of that again. So I have to kind of get out of whatever that is and do it again. But it's hard because I'm the little red hen. I like do all of the things, and then the people come and eat the bread. You know what I mean? Right. And so,
Well, if you need any help, I'm sure Paul and I.
but I'm like, this is a space. That would be a really fun thing
This
to
would
do.
be a
We can
space.
make that happen. Or we've
Yep.
walked around the grounds of Crealda. I think there's so many inspiring
Yes.
little like vignette spots that could be all over.
Perfect. So many trees, so many perfect.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So
We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
No, we do, because I'm very there. And I mean, I will tell you, I've been been attending Fringe since right after I graduated from high school.
oh yeah.
Because I remember, I think I was either 18 or 19 when Fringe was going on down at Wall Street. They had this gigantic blow up with the rooms where each one kept getting smaller, where the doors kept getting smaller, where the rooms got bigger, and people were writing inside of this big
Oh,
like blow up. Yes. And it was like,
really cool.
yeah. And they had it where everybody could just walk in, and they had like the lights flashing. And that was right where I think the coffee shops then were like Yabium and all of that. So it was right at that Wall Street.
Club.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So like that was my first exposure to Fringe. And I was like, and now I'm in love, because I'm just sitting here in this gigantic blow up thing with.
Right. I love that. So that kind of immersive, interactive moment, and that's what at Fringe, anything can happen. So we invite all of that, and I love that. That's what brought you in as a kid.
Yes. I mean, so when we talk about like what brings us into art, I didn't start out per se an artist or anything. I just kind of, I'm going to say, stumbled into it by some of the exposure, like walking downtown and seeing Fringe, or, all of a sudden listening to music and seeing them turn things into like rock opera.
Uh-huh.
Or, this really dates me. And, and back in high school, everyone's like, all right, if you line up the Wizard of Oz with Dark Side of the Moon and you play them together, it tells the completely different
Yes.
story, you know.
That's funny. But yeah, my husband just referenced that the other day. Oh, is that funny?
Cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really funny. Yeah. So yeah, my fingers are all through the community with Fringe, with Voci, with, coming back to art, I'm going to say in a way of like taking a class of like, I'd like to learn this thing. Like, because I've always been drawn to art and to visual art and to painting, murals, all of that. There was also a cool thing I did. It was only in Orlando for 2 years called Art in Odd Places. And it's this internet
remember that. Yes.
and Pat Green, who you both probably
Yes.
know, he somehow found out about it, talked to the person that started this festival that's happened in many cities around the world and said, we want to do this in Orlando. He convinced the Downtown Arts District people to like help support it financially. And then they just put out a call for like curators. And so I applied and I'm like, I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of that same thing of artists applied from all around the world, and it was site specific. The whole idea was like art in places where you wouldn't expect it. And so part of our job was these people applied, we had to choose the artist and then walk all around downtown and find like, oh, this would be good on the steps of this office building, or this would be good in this fountain. But then on top of it, because we were the Orlando team, we had to get all of the permissions, which was really hard. But whatever it is, the permit, the permission, I learned so much
What does that mean?
that I didn't want to learn of like, who owns this building? And then you would have to go down this like deep dive and it would be like, well, this person owns it, but they don't live here and they live in Miami and then they live in Russia and blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff just to find places for these artists to be allowed to perform. And so it was a very cool festival. We did it for 2 years.
It's very cool, but don't you feel like art should be easier
Mhm.
without having to go down that rabbit hole of
Yes,
permission and
I do.
signing off on documents? Like it should be just free and open.
So something amazing and wild. So with Fringe, and we know all about these permissions, even the structure that we do Fringe in now in Lock Haven Park, like we know a little bit, like we have to rent the park, but we have to have this board of people, not our board, okay the festival. And then it's like a zillion permits and permissions and this and that and liquor licenses and, hiring policemen because people have liquor. And there's just all of these
That makes sense.
things, right, for making that art.
But for making it safe too.
Right.
Safe.
But I was just in Montreal and I was there. My stay was great, but then it was extended because Air Canada went on strike. So my husband and I, at first, he was like, oh, and I'm like, well, it just looks like we have a vacation,
Not a bad place to be stuck at.
Yeah. And so part of our stay, we stayed in one area and another one we stayed in a different area, but just because we were there for so many days, it was like, maybe we can't afford this really cool hotel in this one area for that long. So let's move. And we moved to this area where it is designated in Montreal. It is set up and made for festivals the whole forever. Like it's always open. They have it's like the streets are made in a way where they have like big poles for lighting. They have things like built in for sound. They have things for accessibility you know what I mean? But it's just like, we're going to expect that art is going to happen here. And like, let's make it as easy as possible, I would say, for the people to produce it so that the people that are in our community can enjoy it, whereas not saying that like, it's just here, we do it, but it is such a task. Like it is.
Genevieve, how can you bring that to Orlando?
Well, yeah, that's huge. I'm not sure. I feel like that's a lot of maybe a difference of opinions coming down from the country, the government, the funding, maybe a little bit different than our country and their views on art, especially now. I think things are changing rapidly.
That's true, but things have changed. I mean,
Yeah.
when we talk about art in the community, like I believe traveling, you see different people and more people are pulling more art out of what a traditional museum or gallery is. Last year I did Route 66 and I was in, what was it? Potomac, Illinois. And they actually had a festival for 4 months where everyone painted these itty bitty little old 1950s trucks and all throughout the thing. So I'm sitting there and one of my Facebook friends from Gish, who I've never met, was like, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. I wish that I had the day off," because she worked in a hospital. If you're looking around, I have one." And she actually had one, and I sent her a picture of me sitting in her Van Gogh mobile. And, you know, but when we
That's cool.
travel, you see things like,
Mhm.
what communities are really, I feel, trying to get some more stuff out. It's just,
Yeah.
as you are both saying, it's not necessarily an easy process.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, and it's, yeah, but when I travel too, I also, when I was gone this summer, I took a lot of pictures of just random things that I was like, "We could do this at Fringe," like accessibility things or, like,
Oh, yeah.
the way they made safe. I went to another festival called 1,001 Pots in a little village, Val David, Canada, or Val David, I guess, which it's like an hour above Montreal, and so I have family up there, and I've been to this festival twice. This is crazy. And it's a pottery festival shoved on a hill in the woods. And I mean, the way they did it, and it's just like you're going like under a pine tree, and then like Patricia has her setup of pots, and there it is. And then they built a tea house, and then they built these rebar, I think that's it, those metal, they built hollow walls basically in mazes and shapes. And then any pottery that's broken over the years has gone in these walls. So they've created these beautiful structures, and then there's places to sit, and there's places to, have events and relax. But it's if you stood on the outside, it looks like a tiny path and a bunch of trees. You would have no idea. But some of the things that they did just with creating pathways, which I'm assuming for a wheelchair user or whatever, like I just was taking pictures left and right of like, those are some things that I could bring back to Orlando or to Orlando Fringe that we do. Cause we're always trying to figure it out, but there's always a really big price tag
Yeah.
with accessibility. And so it's hard because we want to make things as accessible as possible. So I just felt like they had some creative solutions to stuff, but
It's beautiful.
also that festival, holy God, it was mind blowing and gorgeous. Just
Oh,
And that's the beauty of travel. I think for anyone and everyone, whether you're an artist or not, I mean, I think everyone has creativity running in their veins. And
yeah.
when you see these things, you get excited and you want to come back and do that. So I think being an artist and a creative, I mean, it really extends outside of your four walls in a studio.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
And, I love traveling, and I take pictures of graffiti and wall art
Yeah.
everywhere I go, the walls of stickers, the old posters, and I use that as some of the creative things. So I have pictures, when I was in Europe with my friend, she's like, "Okay, can you stop?" I'm like, "No, go get a glass of wine. I'll meet you there." And I took 30 different pictures. They have this wall of dolls,
Oh.
and it's all doll heads. But the significance is, it's showing the abuse of women.
Oh.
But, I didn't know that coming in. I'm like, "There's this wall of doll heads, and I need to take pictures of it."
Yeah.
And then
Creepy? A little.
I mean, it's been there for a while, so I think
Yeah.
any doll that sits out in the element,
Maybe a little creepy. That's
Yeah.
fine.
and,
But I still want to see it.
when some of them have only heads, and I kinda think dolls can be creepy. I mean, maybe it was just like Puppet Master, I think it was, when I was a kid. I never got over it. I don't know.
Are you afraid of puppets? Some people are.
No, not puppets, because in my mind, puppets, I know someone's pulling the strings. It's the actual dolls, and one of my friends, really good friends in my book club, collects creepy dolls. So anywhere I go and I take pictures, I'm like, "I found this creepy doll," and she's like, "I want it."
Is that Sarah?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Vera. Because I do like dark and creepy, things that might not be normal, but for the most part, dolls don't do it. But when you see like this wall, and it's just it's so big, and I'm just like, okay, this is kind of creepy. Like I expect eyes to be following me. Like I expect it to be something like, here's a wall of dolls. Let's put a Kafka-ish theme into it, like the Kafka Museum, and put weird music in the eyes. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay. At first I thought it was cool, and I was like, oh, someone nicely stopped and told me what it was all about. And I was like, okay, now I'll go have that glass of wine.
Right? Yeah.
But they also had a big
Big lesson
statue
from that.
that I took a picture of the bird finger. It's a gigantic statue. And I was there for like my 49th birthday, so I have a picture of me with the statue.
Like the bird thing?
Yeah, the finger. And I'm just like, yeah.
That's funny.
Now, talking about puppets, you have some puppetry stories.
Yeah, that's
Or-
why I was like,
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about them if you're afraid of puppets.
No.
Because some people are.
Huh.
Yeah, and I
I'm not-
actually just got asked to do some puppetry work coming up in October.
Nice.
I'm going to do it.
Cool.
But
Tell us. If
yeah, I have some puppetry history. One of my
puppetry.
little
I see that. No.
careers, puppetry. Oh, a puppetry.
I'm being funny.
But yeah, I work with a company for years called Ibex Puppetry, which Ibex Puppetry is a puppetry company founded by and led by Heather Henson, which she's the daughter of Jim Henson. And so for like, I mean, we still occasionally I'll work for her project base, but I worked with her intensively for probably 12 years and worked with her family. And she's very interested. Her father had a time here. Her family had a couple places here in Florida, and really care about the Florida environment and the animals. And so she really cares about cranes and manatees, crocodiles, a bunch of Florida, basically the Florida endangered species. And so we have done many, many variations of the Endangered Species Parade with these puppets. And we have performed and I was the choreographer for a while. She brought me in to choreograph. And then she was like, well, why don't you just puppeteer? I'll teach you. And I was like, okay. So then I became a puppeteer with the company for years. We have done things all around the country, a lot of nature preserves and parks. Like if they had an event, right, it's the perfect place. We've performed for like conferences of scientists studying whooping cranes and different birds, and it was so cool because one of these we did at the International Crane Foundation in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and we performed in this beautiful old theater, and all of the scientists came. It was a part of their conference, and it was just so cool because the feedback, they were just like, we didn't think about this connection of art and what we do, and and the birds, and because we did a lot of pieces about the migration of the birds, and I've even we've done stuff on Broadway. Like I've done the puppetry parts of it for her, and then some of the stuff is gone. I didn't go with them, but I did the work to Russia, to Kazakhstan, to different places. They have these in the puppetry world, which is its own like subset of our worlds.
For sure.
There's this they do these world puppetry carnivals, and they move around the world, and so artists from all around the world submit their work on behalf of like America, or it's just a very interesting thing. But the work you see is just, it's such a wide breadth of work. So anyway, long story longest,
No, it's
I'd have
great.
fingers in this puppetry world, and literally. And I've even pulled my husband into pieces of it, because then it kind of turned into the family wanted to do, we did some touring of the Muppet movie sing-along. And so what they wanted to do was create like a Rocky Horror version, but for the Muppet movie, where you can interact, where you get a goodie bag, where you sing along, or costumes or whatever it is. And so my husband, crazy random fact, but he helped start the Rich Weirdos here in Orlando, and was very involved with the Rocky Horror community for years before I met him, but many years. And so Heather was like, oh, well, do you want to come in and help us do this for the Muppet movie? So he kind of gave some input. She gave input, other people did. And then we created this version that we took on the road, and we did Muppet movies, did the same thing with Labyrinth. Did that in different places around the country. It was very cool. I got to do it at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, which is just a cool theater space that I had always dreamed of doing something.
That's something that's like very near to my heart, is like, the wild animals and the environments, and, just what we see growing, and gardens, and how herbs and trees, like a 400-year-old tree. So like you're just like singing into my heart. I just want you to know.
That's soft.
Do you sing too?
No. I would like to. That would be fun. I mean, I know nothing. No.
I know
It's very cool.
I do so many concerts in my car.
Oh, yeah.
I actually was driving a friend of mine home the other day, and he was quiet, and I was just driving, and the song came in, I turned it up, and it started going, and then I'm like, oh crap, I'm not alone. And he's just like, okay.
He appreciated your concert?
Yes. Okay. He's like, this is why I love you. You're weird in that good kind of way.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I'll take it. So besides that, what else do you have going on?
what do I have going on? So Fringe, we're going to make a big festival in May. We're already cooking that up.
Now, I had a question.
Yes.
Yes. I've known you for so many years. And one thing I don't know about you is like the obvious question. Did you start dancing as a child, like as a little girl?
Right.
Tell us like that
Yeah.
origin story. That's my word of the day. Origin.
Origin story.
Yeah, your backstory.
Which I keep saying that makes you a superhero in my book because I have to hear your origin story.
Yeah.
Just so you know, whenever she says that, I turn whoever's neck in front of me into a superhero.
Yeah, you have an imaginary cape on.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Tell us. And that's in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah. I grew up in Pennsylvania, in central Pennsylvania. And I did not start dancing as a little kid. I was a mover, and I always had movement around me. My brother was in this thing called Drum and Bugle Corps, and my parents would go. There were a lot of shows in the region where I lived, so it would be something in the summer we'd like get in the car and go watch one of these shows. And so it wasn't maybe traditional dance like we know it, like a ballet or a jazz or a tap, but it was there was movement. There was the color guard, the people spinning the flags, the rifles, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And when I was little, I wanted to be a baton twirler, so I took lessons to do that.
I can see.
I was in majorettes.
I see that. I was a very, very bad baton twirler when I took the class in 4th grade in Lebanon, Tennessee. I broke windows. I hit my head. I hit other. And I was really good at throwing it and spinning it. I wasn't really good at catching it.
I still have batons in my garage. Sometimes I play with them. I love it. But yeah, so I did that, and then I eventually found my way into dance lessons. But I did that drum corps, color guard, majorette thing for many years. I did it all through college. And then I started to seriously dance in college, which for a girl is very late. If you're a boy, you're welcome with open arms. Like, we just want boys no matter what. Like, they always wanted men to dance because it was harder to find. But girls starting that late, it was like, ooh. But I found my way to modern dance, which is just a different, it's not ballet, it's not point shoes, it's accepting of all shapes and sizes. It's a very different, grounded, you're rolling on the floor, you're barefoot, and I just fell in love with that. And then I just started going heavy and took it all through college, really was interested in choreography and making the dances. And I think that started all the way back from watching that drum corps thing for years and all of the groups moving around in patterns and moving through space. And so I was always very fascinated by that. And eventually my teachers in my undergrad school, which I was going for communication, I was also taking dance class like on the side, and they were like, you should go to this grad school. So I totally shifted course and went to grad school for dance and then just, started doing that.
We're happy that you did. Now look where you're at, doing all of these amazing things.
I knew what the very first thing I wanted to go to college for was art. And my dad supported me, and then I was like, I think that's too competitive. I'm not going to do that.
Ugh.
So like when I think about it, like visual art, like that was my first choice that I didn't make. So it wasn't a straight line, but yeah. So dance and movement has been through all of it. I would say I'm definitely more of a mover and a curator of movement and a choreographer, bringing in all these other elements of the space, the environment, the visual art, the prop, so.
And talking about space, can we just mention briefly about your new space that you have?
Oh, my little
literal
shop
space. Yeah.
Yes. I have a little Mod G Vintage. That is me. I have a little vintage shop in the Mercantile. I just moved in there. I used to be at another space, and I just moved into the Mercantile. I have also, through this whole curvy line journey of my life, have had this attraction to vintage things, mid-century-ish, 70s, 60s, around there, and just have amassed a lot of stuff. I've collected it. I love to pick. And then, just even amassing my parents' stuff, which a lot of that was of that vintage as well. And so I now have a teeny little booth in the Mercantile, and I'm trying to,
It's adorable.
add to the circle of vintage and like let other people enjoy that fun stuff, because I can't keep it forever, and I have a lot of it. So my husband loves that I have a shop for that very reason. Let's get these items out into the universe. So yeah.
Yes, let's find their next forever journey.
And I want people that would appreciate them and love them to have them. So that would make me happy too. Yeah.
All right. So guess what time it is?
Time to end.
Time for the lightning round. We don't let you out that easy.
It'll be fun.
All right. So you know the rules. The rules basically are first thing that comes to your mind rapidly. We're going to come at you pretty quick.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm not always good at rapid, but I'll do my best.
That's fine.
All right.
Something that you usually have in your pocket besides your phone.
Lipstick or lip drugs, as I call it. 'Cause I don't like dry lips.
Who does?
Right?
Genevieve, what's your pet peeve?
Oh. I don't know. Do I have a pet peeve? Pass. Have you ever anyone do that? I don't know.
That's fine.
Sorry.
It will come to you,
It will
and then you can bring it to us, and we'll
Or
put it on
call
social
you.
media.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of that, texting or talking?
Oh, texting, but I'm trying to be more of a talk to people in real life. You mean like an actual phone call?
Yeah.
Yeah. Texting. Yeah.
Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Oh gosh, Patricia. These questions who would play me. Drew Barrymore.
Oh, I see that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Sir Charles is shaking his head too. We all concur on that.
All right. What is your power song, or song that motivates you? Do you have what is the one that just makes you get up?
It's Tears for Fears. It's a lot of things by Tears for Fears. I'm a fan. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, or strange one, Raoul and the Kings of Spain. Random. I'm a big fan of Tears for Fears.
All good.
Oh, great.
Gotta love Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on social media and find Fringe if we want to see what's going on and keep up with you?
So for Fringe, social media, at Orlando Fringe, that's us on Instagram, that's us on Facebook, orlandofringe.org, that's our website. Me personally, not on Facebook so much, although I feel like I should be because I miss my brother's pictures and my cousins and all of that stuff. But at Genevieve Java, Genevieve_Java, and then at Mod G Vintage, and then at Vochi Dance. There's a few. Yeah, those are all me.
And don't forget, we can find you at Mercantiles.
Yes, I am at the Mercantile as well, and I do share Mercantile's goodies on my at Mod G Vintage. So it's there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much. It's always so great to spend time with you. It's kind of weird that I'm with you and we don't have paintbrushes in our hands
I know. Or the hairdryer.
or hairdryer. We're going to move you to a heating element next.
That's fancy. Yeah,
But we need to all paint together really soon.
Yes, but we're going to be doing
do
it
it.
in October.
I know.
Yeah.
I want to paint every day.
I want to paint every
I
day.
hear they say that all the time, but
Well, I'm fortunate enough to see Genevieve every Tuesday when she takes my class with all our friends, and you know them. So
Yeah.
come on back. Or even if you can do a drive-by, a pop-in on a Tuesday.
I drive.
We would love that. And Sir Charles, you're invited too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.